It's Platt, and today we try a beer that started a Mexican brewing legacy. That's next Platt's Beer of the Week. So the particular beer we have today is Carta Blanca. Carta Blanca is produced by Cerveceria Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. The brewery was founded in 1890 by a gentleman named Jose Muguerza. Oh, again, hopefully I said that right. And his family, they opened the brewery in Monterrey, and they funded it with roughly 150,000 pesos, which I think today's somewhere around $1,000. So well invested for sure. Their original beer was Carta Blanca. It was the original flagship beer of the brewery, and they really lucked out with it because it was made a splash early. It won first prize at the Chicago and Paris World's Fairs. 120 years ago, World's Fairs were huge events. They predated spirits competitions and beer festivals and stuff. This was a great way to introduce your alcoholic beverage, whether it be beer, wine, spirits, what have you. And again, winning a World's Fair really could set your beer apart. So Carta Blanca won and really helped the brewery take off. In 1909, they began a process of vertical integration. What that means is instead of just producing beer, they created companies that would produce the bottles that would hold the beer, or a company that would make the caps for the bottles that held the beer, or the packaging or whatever. And I think they also, at one time, malted their own grains. So they kept it all in-house, and that's a real competitive advantage for breweries. Starting around 1910 or so, there was a revolution going on in Mexico, a kind of civil war, and the brewery's founders were unfortunately associated with the losing side, and they had to leave Mexico for a while and spend some time in Texas. The brewery had been taken over by the rebels. Fortunately for them, a few years later, they were able to come back, get the brewery back. They actually had to get the help of U.S. and Russian diplomats, of all things. Who knows, maybe Putin's grandfather was involved. Who knows? But they got the brewery back and continued to grow. They also started doing they started becoming more employee-friendly. In 1918, they created something called Sociedad Cuauhtémoc. I'm hopefully not butchering it too bad. It was kind of a welfare system for their employees. I think they provided like some schooling for the kids, some basic health care. It was kind of pushed as all, we're just real magnanimous about helping our employees. What it really was they were trying to avoid strikes. I know at the time here in the U.S., you were kind of having a labor movement around that time too. So also communism was coming around, so they kind of wanted to nip that in the bud. They also around this time dropped the length of the workday from 12 hours to 9 hours, so about a 25% drop. So that was kind of nice for the employees. Today, they run 6 breweries throughout Mexico and are part of the Heineken International, or the big Heineken brewing conglomerate. Technically, they're part of Heineken Mexico, but it's part of the main company, and they will also produce, if you're getting Heineken products in Mexico, most likely they're producing it too. Besides those Heineken beers, they also produce several of the more prominent Mexican lines of beers. They give us Bohemia, Cerveza Sol, Tecate, Dos Equis. They are the second biggest brewer in Mexico behind Grupo Modelo. So quite an impressive company with a long tradition. And again, Carta Blanca was the original flagship beer. Well, before we try this particular beer, though, let's check out the stats. So today, before I try our Carta Blanca here, I want to go on a quick little rant. I've had this rant before, but I just had something kind of happen the other day to me that was going to set me off again. Generally, when I shoot these videos, I'll go to my favorite liquor store, just a random liquor store around, and I just go in and see what they got, see if there's something that just catches my eyes. I try to try as many different things, big breweries, small breweries, medium breweries, foreign breweries, try to cover the spectrum, and I try to keep open to it. And the other day I picked up 3 or 4 different beers, and I was going to shoot videos for, and then I'll bring them home and I'll do a little more research on them and what have you. And out of the 4 beers, this is the only one I'm going to review. I don't know, you know, I'm sure all kinds of people watch these videos, you know, just people that, you know, kind of like craft beer, some maybe home brewers. I like to think maybe I get a few brewmasters, craft distillers, you know, people that are in the industry. And if you're watching, I got a little rant for you. I threw away, basically, well, I didn't throw away. I don't throw away beers, but I didn't review 3 beers because I got home and there was no information about the beers. In any of their marketing, there was just no information. Actually, one of the beers was a collaboration, so there was 2 breweries that did not, I think on this collaboration, neither brewery acknowledged it was a collaboration, that they'd ever made this beer. I found it on like Untappd and Rate Beer and stuff like that, but they kind of just didn't acknowledge it. And even in their list of beers, they just had no information, not much marketing. And what I noticed on all the different breweries, you know, in this little batch I had, that it was all just pictures of bearded hipsters and, you know, young, you know, millennials playing cornholes, and it's just pictures of that, or maybe a cute girl with a really colorful sour, and it's just marketing. I hope we get in a brewery or something, the beer is the product. This is the product, not cornhole or hipsters or colors or whatever. You know, it's the beer, and we want to know about the beer. You know, if you're into craft beer, craft brewing, what have you, you kind of care about the beer. Give us some information. Talk about the beer. Why is it different? What are the flavor profiles? You know, just something. But there was 4 breweries that just absolutely dropped the ball, and I'm just as a bartender, I'm just going to tell you, you're going to make our life easier selling your product. Give us a little information. So that's just my rant. Enough about that. Let's drink a beer that's definitely not from a craft brewery and has plenty of marketing behind it. I do love that they have this in the 32 ounce. I just saw that and I had to buy. All right, let's look at the color. Nice golden color, real clear. Plenty of bubbles, but not overly effervescent. A nice little thin white head. A little bit of malt on the nose. It is slightly more complex than, you know, the nose tells me there's a slightly more complex malt bill than like a Corona or something like that. Let's give it a try. You know what? That's nice. Just a hint in my palate leaning toward that Vienna lager. That's also a classic, you know, Mexican style of beer. You know, still just a kind of a straightforward golden lager, but again, a little more complex than the traditional, just light Americanish Mexican lager. No real hop nose or taste, but again, but it does provide balance. There's just a little bit of malt sweetness, but not a ton to it. Quick finish, but an easy drinker. Overall, a pretty nice beer. If you're looking, again, if you're wanting a Mexican style beer, but you don't want just the straightforward kind of almost straw light Corona-ish type of beer, I think Carta Blanca is the next step up. It's a little more complex. However, I've always liked Negro Modelos and the more Vienna lager style Mexican lagers, and this is getting that direction. So overall, pretty decent beer, easy drinking. Love the 32 ounce bottles. I like it. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to try, please leave me in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.